Hello there everybody, and welcome back once again to another very special video here on Video Games Ho. I'm Hades Manticore. So as you probably know, E3 has come and gone, and we fighting game players got a taste of two very distinct things. Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite and Dragon Ball FighterZ. To say Dragon Ball FighterZ blew Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite out of the water would be a gigantic understatement. DBZF showed off a trailer that us Marvel vs. Capcom fans were dying to see. Crisp graphics, great looking sprites and animations, 3v3 combat with assists, and topping it all off by saying the game was only 20% complete. Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite looked like a dumpster fire by comparison. After all this, I felt the need to vent a bit, air my grievances, if you will, hence the title of the video. So, let's get started, shall we? I'd like to address this really quick, since it's been a major point of contention on Twitter and various other social media. Gameplay is important. That much is very true. I don't think anyone would say otherwise. But presentation is also a huge part of your game too. And when a game presents you with this, well, it hurts. It hurts the impression the game makes. Hurts even more if you're someone who loves Marvel vs. Capcom. Like me. I care immensely about Marvel vs. Capcom. I wouldn't be making this video if I didn't. But Capcom, we need to talk about this. All of this. Let's start with the obvious. What is this? What is this? What are these? What the hell did you do to these characters, Capcom? Chun-Li was a strong, beautiful woman, and you turned her into a gremlin. You turned Dante from the definition of sexual appeal to a meth addict. Morgan looks like a snake. Cap looks like Rob Liefeld drew him. Rocket looks like he's strung out like a meth addict, too. Arthur's beard's made of french fries. Thanos looks like an ape, and Chris, well, Christ. These look awful. Some models look okay. Captain Marvel isn't half bad, but I mean, Marvel desperately wants you to care about her, so I would hope she would at least look good. But what are these, Capcom? I know you can do better. The models in MVC3 look fine, and you basically ripped those for this game. So why do they look so bad? Everyone has this weird plasticky look to them. It's like you were playing with action figures or something. If I had to wager a guess, it's simply because the style of MVCI does not work with the models of MVC3, or rather the utter lack of style in this game. Which leads me to my next point. Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite seems to be direly lacking in style. Marvel vs. Capcom 3 Infinite had a nice comic book aesthetic that pleased with cel-shaded models and effects. Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite threw all that shit out the window and went with the bold strategy of no real style whatsoever. It just seems very flat by comparison, which is odd since this is a series that has always had great style and visual appeal. Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite just seems like a huge downgrade in its visual styles from Marvel vs. Capcom 3. I guess in my opinion it's not even just the visuals either. It's a general downgrade in general from Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Don't believe me? Well, when I say general downgrade, I also include not just the visuals, but the voice acting as well. Maybe it's just me, but I don't feel like everybody is giving their all. Or it could just be that Capcom's voice direction is shit. Could also be that this got hit with the voice actors strike. A bunch of people certainly did get replaced. Wouldn't really say for the better, either. I know it's probably just a personal opinion, but I don't think Liam O'Brien's great as Doctor Strange. Stellar voice actor as Yasuo, Akihiko Sanada, and every other NCR soldier in Fallout New Vegas. Not as good as Rick Pasqualone as Doctor Strange.
Do you feel it? This psychic maelstrom of torment and despair.
You are but a minor annoyance to the Sorcerer Supreme.
Nova is also a step down, but there aren't many that could replace Troy Baker and not look terrible by comparison. Rocket's voice isn't particularly great either, but I know that one is my own personal taste. I've missed Cockney Rocket Raccoon since the first Guardians movie, to be honest.
Yeah, it sucks. Done a lot of hard time, huh?
Not a fan of X's voice either, but I've never cared about Mega Man, so I'll let the Mega Man fans debate whether it's a good voice for him or not.
With us together, this'll be a sin.
Chris and Thor has also lost a lot of intensity, even though they're both the same voice actor. Willing to put the ball in Capcom's court for these two. At least Arthur still sounds great. Props to you, Daniel Warren.
And you, Thor, are indeed mighty, for a heathen god.
I know this all sounds pretty petty, but when it all gets put in motion, it just looks worse than 3. Let me show you. Since Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite is basically ripping the models, moves, and supers from Marvel vs. Capcom 3, it makes comparisons quite easy. So here are a handful of super moves from both Marvel vs. Capcom 3 and Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, so you can see the difference. Do you see what I mean when I say Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite is such a downgrade graphically? It lacks the impact, oomph, and just visual polish that 3 had. It's an unfortunate downgrade, to be honest, one I can obviously say I don't agree with. After all of that, I can move on to some of my other grievances. Things that are a little less obvious. You know, I didn't think you'd actually do it, Capcom, but you did. I hate this. Why? Why remove an entire motion and replace it with either down, downs, or quarter circles? Is there a reason for this? And please don't say accessibility. An SRK motion really isn't that hard. Please, Capcom, at the least, give us the option to switch it. If Injustice 2 can support alternate control schemes, you can too. Rice was right. People will tell you he was wrong because he didn't mention Zero. Well, he mentioned one more unknown Capcom character. Thought it was Frank, guess it was Zero. Hopefully, I'm jumping the gun here, but what came out basically confirmed the 28-man roster, as well as showing Black Panther as the second Season Pass character. That's 2 DLC characters in the base game, by the way, if you've lost count. Gonna take a wild guess and say the other 4 are 2 in the base game. This roster being confirmed is obviously super disappointing. It's still super uninteresting, with most of Capcom's picks being safe and all of Marvel's being tied to the MCU. I'm sure the roster will eventually be great, 3 years and 7 character passes later. Let me wrap this up by saying a couple things. I'm not mad at Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, just very disappointed. I think this game has a lot of potential, but all the good gameplay in the world wouldn't convince me to buy it. Plus, there's a ton of other stuff I'm worrying about, like netcode, features, will my colors be locked behind something stupid like survival mode? Will there be any communication from Capcom if there's issues with the game? I feel like Street Fighter V and Marvel vs. Capcom's developments are practically mirroring one another, and Street Fighter V's development will eventually be a case study in how not to support a game post-launch. And to address the big point that's been tossed around at the people criticizing this game, do I want Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite to fail? Well, yes and no. You see, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite is a bit of a snafu. I want the game to fail because I don't like seeing half-efforts and user-hostile practices rewarded. I don't want it to fail because I know if it does, we're not going to see another Versus game for a long, long time, if ever. The series will be written off as a failure and we'll most likely not see another one for years, Capcom going back to its normal practice of re-releasing Resident Evil games. I'm not really broken up about that, admittedly. If I lived in an age where I didn't have so many other options, I might be upset, but that's simply not the case here. I don't feel obligated to play Marvel just because it's Marvel. Why should I eat this shit when there's all sorts of other food on the table? Lastly, don't let people shame you into playing this game. You don't hate the FGC because you don't like what you see here. Name's Max, Hades Manticore is the handle. Thanks for listening to my bitching. I'll see y'all in another video. Bye.